welcome to my channel. This is the Nomadic Goddess and I am Jasmine. This is going to be a general monthly reading for the sign of Capricorn for the month of May. Now, you don't just have to be a Capricorn Sun. You can be a Capricorn Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and or Mercury. And just because I said it is for the month of May does not mean it is solely for that month. It is for whenever you are guided to my channel and decide to hit play. Because this is a general reading, you shouldn't take everything with you. If the shoe fits, lace it up, find a matching pair, and travel well. If it does not fit, leave it. There's no need to carry messages that do not ring true for you. I am clairaudient. That means that the divine, whether you want to call it God, Goddess, Source, the universe, it sends me messages via songs, bits and pieces of movies that I've watched, and also books that I've read. Now, these songs do get stuck in my head, and I do sing them. Unfortunately, I cannot sing. So, if you can put up with my non-singing self, I hope you enjoy, discover something new about yourself, and don't be afraid to dive deep. With that said, let's get started. All right, what messages do we have for Capricorn? Oh, we have 5 by 5. What messages do we have for Capricorn for the month of May? What messages do we have for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Mercury for the month of May? What messages do we have for Capricorn? Thank you. What messages do we have for Capricorn? What messages do we have for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and or Mercury? What messages do we have for the sign of Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Mercury for the month of May? Oop. Ooh, we have a flyer. Wait. What messages do we have for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mercury? Oh, Jesus. All these flyers. I think that was my fault. Oh, yeah. What messages do we have for Capricorn Sun, Moon, Rising Venus, and Mercury for the month of May? What messages do we have for Capricorn Sun, Moon, Rising Venus, and Mercury? Messages do we have for Capricorn? I think we have a flipper. Do we have another one? No. What do we have for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising Venus, and Mercury for the month of May? Give me one more for Capricorn, please. Those were meant to come out, they'll come out again. One more for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising Venus. Okay, we have 555. A major shift is about to come into your life experience and change your path's direction. Be open and stay positive. I am optimistic. And we have number 9. Shift this over really fast. Number 9. It's your compassion that makes you shine. You are devoted to helping the greater good and have a strong talent for speaking up for others. Your soul is the most satisfied when you are being of service. I am compassionate. And we have number 20. You relate to others on an almost cosmic level. You are dedicated to building harmonious relationships of all kinds. You have the ability to persuade others to your point of view by using gentle means. I am harmonious. And then last but not least, 23. You have a zest for life and you are eager to experience anything and everything possible. You love change and excitement and need both to feel truly alive. For you, life is an adventure to be lived to the fullest. I am adventurous. And I feel like for those of you who aren't feeling those angel numbers, I feel like those should be or could be affirmations for you. Especially the compassionate one, because I know sometimes you Cappies can have a very, 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 very sharp tongue. I feel like some of you have maybe having throat chakra issues. So we have number 6, trusting tricksters. So the trickster's only power is your trust. You are always free to withdraw it. This is pertaining to any illusions that you may be partaking into or any illusions that you may be building, especially when it comes to relationships. Because if you look here, she's holding a flower, but the flower is also twining the fox to her. So it's like it's binding itself. She's binding the fox to her. And foxes are also always going to be known as tricksters because they're very, very charismatic. They're very, very clever. They're very witty. They're very charming. And they have the ability to disalarm people. And I feel like this is speaking to Capricorns who are more so dwelling in their shadow aspect, who haven't awakened fully or awakened yet. Next we have 41, radical self-love. We can only receive love to the extent that we unconditionally love and live the truth of ourselves. And this is for those of you who are seeking or trying to search for the love that you deserve, or the love that you think that you deserve or you should have gotten when you were younger. Especially if you have mother wound and father wounds, especially because you have the daddy issues card here. And more importantly, if you have any form of abandonment wound, the radical self, that's where the radical self-love that's where radical self-love comes in and teaches you how to undo the grasp of I just had a brain fart. Oh my goodness, the thought was just there. Radical self-love is where radical self-love comes in and undoes the hold that codependency has on you. When you love yourself radically, when you accept yourself radically, wholeheartedly, it gives you the tools that you need to start tapping into and being your authentic self. Whereas you don't have to wear a mask anymore. You don't have to people please anymore. You don't have to search for love outside of yourself, because the first place that you go for love is within yourself. And we have accountability. Responsibility is a gift of love to yourself and to others. What does accountability look like for you? What does taking accountability look like to you? Does it look like passing the blame, or does it look like sweeping things under the rug and not dealing with them and just being like, you know what? This is not for me. This ain't it. Or are you avoiding it? Is it avoidance? And if it is any of those things, then you have to honestly take a look in the mirror and do some self-reflection. You also have to take accountability to the roles that you played in the downfall of your relationships. A lot of you need to work on speaking up or listening. And I'm also hearing, Spirit is also telling me that some of you can't take accountability because you lack the emotional maturity to do the self-reflection. But at the end of the day, it can't be everyone else's fault. Like, if you go throughout your life and you're having these situations or you're having these confrontations, you have to look at the common denominator. And sometimes the common denominator is you. Sometimes the negative energy is you. All right, next we have presence of absence. Hold what is absent in the presence of your love. Presence of absence for me is those who are no longer with us, but also if you're in, I want to say if you're like separated from your child or separated from your spouse, or like you've moved to another country, so you're separated from your family. You have to learn how to, especially if you've relocated from a child, or like I said, relocated from your family. You're going to have to, if you're not already, you're going to have to step up your communication. Because especially if you have children, who are used to seeing you, who went from seeing you every day to not seeing you at all, or not seeing you at all, or barely seeing you, you're going to have to fill in that gap, fill in that void. Call more, FaceTime more, do like a random pop-up if you can, but you're gonna have to fill the void of them seeing you, from them going from seeing you every day to not seeing you at all, like you not being in their life physically at all. We have there's food at home. You need to stop ordering out so much, but also when I see the there's food at home card, it's also a reminder of you don't know the person who's preparing your food. You don't know what energy or mindset they're in. Are they grieving? Are they angry? Are they sad? Are they depressed? Are they stressed? You don't know any of that, the people who are preparing your food. And if they're preparing your food in that state, in that emotional and mental state, they're pouring that energy, they're pouring those emotions, they're putting that all in your food. So then you're going to eat it and you're going to become, or you're going to get depressed, or you're going to make your depression even worse because you're eating that energy, you're consuming that energy. So whenever I see that there's food at home, it's a reminder that, hey, you don't need to be out here spending money on Chick-fil-A all the time, or McDonald's, or Five Guys, or Red Robin, or Outback, or Fridays, or whatever chain restaurant or whatever restaurant you eat at. You don't need to be out here spending food that much, especially if you have food at the house that you can cook. It's also a reminder of, hey, pay attention to the energy that you put into your food. Cook yourself a meal. I know when I'm in a funk, the best way to get me out of a funk is cooking for myself. Because then that's when I put on my love songs, I put on my jams or my old school music playlist, and I'm just in the kitchen, just pouring that energy, pouring that love into the food, and then I'm eating it. Next we have tabula rasa. Tabula rasa, it is basically, not basically, it is a new beginning. You need to have a new beginning. But you can't have a new beginning if you are not doing the self-reflection, if you are not doing the healing, if you are not looking back at, I wouldn't say looking back at all the mistakes, but looking back at all the lessons and actually taking into account what you needed to learn from all the experiences, all the people that have been in and out of your life. Next, we have belongs to the streets. I feel like this is for some of y'all who are living in your shadow self. You're hopping from woman to woman, trying to find an emotional home, or you're making emotional homes out of all these women. And then when you are disappointed, or when something happens, or when things get serious, you tuck tail and run. But it's also because you are emotionally immature, and because you have childhood trauma, you have commitment issues. Next, we have daddy issues. And I feel like daddy issues, especially father wounds, especially for those of you who have abandonment issues, it's coming up for you at this time. Especially for those of you who are at a distance with a child or a spouse or your family in general. I feel like it's the separation is amplifying your feelings of being unworthy. And then we have there's a secret. I'm going to say this now, Capricorn. Not telling the whole truth is lying. Not disclosing the whole truth is lying. Because with there's a secret, I feel like some of you are keeping, you're not, and I don't think you guys are doing this on purpose. For some of you, you're not doing this on purpose because you're extremely unaware. And because you don't know how to communicate in a healthy manner. So you're telling half-truths, or you're trying to find out the best way to express yourself, and in you trying to find the perfect way to express yourself, the secret is, I wouldn't say getting bigger, but I would say the secret is you keeping the secret, the amount of time that you're keeping the secret is getting longer and longer and longer and longer. And it's kind of sort of like you're making a mountain out of a molehill, whereas if you would have just said what you needed to say from the beginning to the person, then it wouldn't have been so bad. But because you guys shy away from, or because you guys don't know how to communicate in a healthy way, it's like you're blocking your throat, you're blocking your throat chakra, because you're scared to say what you need to say. The advice that I can give you guys is, if there is something that you need to say to a certain person, you could write an email, you can write it in a letter and send it off in a letter, you can write it in a text message. One thing about me is I used to be horrible at verbally communicating my emotions, but I could write you a letter. I could write you a poem. I could write you a song. I could write you a 4-page letter in detail describing how I'm feeling and why I'm feeling that way. But for me to talk it, for me to say it out loud, no. And what I realized is, in me writing letters to myself or to people and telling them how I feel, or just in the moment of someone asking me what is wrong and me telling them, hey, I need a minute to gather my thoughts and to gather my wits so I can express myself to the best of my ability verbally, it helped. Even if I had to type it out right then and there and read it out loud, getting it out, getting it on pen and paper is getting it out. And that way you can be able to tell the person that you need to tell the person, or speak your truth the way you need to speak your truth. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be all fancy nancy. It doesn't have to be eloquent or elegant. Just get it on pen and paper, get it out of you, and stop blocking your voice. Use your voice, please, and thank you. And also do some work around abandonment, especially if you have father wounds, or even mother wounds, any type of parent wound where there is abandonment. But specifically, if you are a male and you have abandonment issues pertaining to a dad, write out those emotions. Write out how it made you feel. Because then that's when you're going to be able to, that's when you're going to not only heal yourself, but you're also going to be able to heal your inner child. And in you healing your inner child, you're going to learn self-love, self-acceptance, and you're going to be able to look at yourself in the mirror. Because I feel like when you look at yourself in the mirror, for some of you, you avert your gaze. Like you can't look at yourself in the eyes. All right, Capricorn, that was your reading. I will see you next month. Bye.